right, what's happening, everyone? It is June 24th. So I wanted to make this video in lieu of this week's mastermind meeting, just to have like a recording. Everyone can access it, and I thought it was very relevant just to kind of share some thoughts about the state of the market and some actions that I'm taking and or not taking, and just some like general guidelines and recommendations. Most of this is grounded in questions that I've been getting from people in the mastermind directly one-on-one. I met with a number of you one-on-one, and we talked about exactly what I'm going to share with everyone here today. And so, as always, the idea is not to say, hey, hard and true facts, this is definitely what's going to happen, no questions asked. There is no crystal ball, but we can assess trends in the market and then adjust our actions accordingly. So first and foremost, though, what I want to highlight here is all of this is based on this value, okay? And again, you don't have to share my value system, but I'm sharing my value system with you so that if part of it or all of it potentially resonates with you, you can say, hey, maybe I want to adopt that value or this one or all of them or whatever the case may be. So first and foremost, though, my opinion, simplicity will always be greater than unnecessary complexity. And for whatever reason, there is a tendency, I fall prey to it sometimes as well, to introduce additional complexity where you don't actually need it. And portfolio diversification is often an expression of this principle at play, meaning it's tempting to go, wow, it's a bear market, like everything's on sale. Why don't I buy a portion of like these 18 different projects or what have you? It's basically the spray and pray method, right? Like I'm just going to buy a little bit of everything and then cross my fingers and hope for the best. Now, in terms of simplicity, again, if you carry in your perspective like, hey, I really only need to double my money this year, rather than going like, I'll just bet it all on everything and then like maybe one of them will go 20x. So the simplicity comes from just acknowledging, hey, I'm not after this like aggressive gains, but I can make a few really simple, reliable moves. So I'm going to share with you, I forgot to write this one down. I'm going to share you what I think are the best. Whoops, let's get rid of that highlight there. Risk adjusted, reliable returns. That's what I'm going for personally, okay? I invite all of you to consider that as a value that you hold as well. But again, as always, it's up to you. So risk adjusted, reliable returns will play into what I'm going to share with you later about farming during the bear market, during the sideways movement, okay? And we'll take a look at Ethereum here in just a little bit, and I want to show you what happened in the past. Not that it's a guarantee it'll happen again, but as they say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does echo. So there will likely be strong similarities between the previous bear market cycle and the one that we're going into here coming up very soon, okay? Then the other value that's going to be at play in what I share today, I'm calling it boring but profitable, is greater than dopamine addiction. Meaning that when I share with you some of these plays, your first gut instinct might be to go, oh, well, duh, Brandon, like that's so boring. Like, where's all the cool, exciting stuff that's going to get me amazing returns? That's not what this is. Remember, we all joined this group on the premise that this is about the patient investor approach. Okay, so we're adopting a long-term mindset, but then also, and as silly as it seems, this is the part that people miss, you then have to act in accordance with that stated value. Well, you don't have to, but it would be silly to have a stated value and then an action that directly contradicts what your stated value is. Okay, it would just make no sense. You'd be a walking contradiction all hours of the day. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna show you what I think is the boring but profitable approach, and I believe it's so much better than the dopamine addiction, because dopamine addiction is just like chase, 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 upside, 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 rather than saying, hold on a second, does this action actually put me in a position to receive the best risk-adjusted, reliable turns over time? Okay. Always, 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 we have to evaluate if the action is in alignment with what we say that our values are. Okay. And then the other one here, investing in your own belief in a project. Now, I'm not talking about blind belief in anything. I'm talking about if you truly believe something is valuable long-term, then you're okay putting your dollars behind that. So for example, if you believe in Bitcoin, you would go, cool, I'm going to ride Bitcoin for the next 20 years, even through all the ups and downs, and I'm just going to acquire more when it's down rather than trying to time the market, buy, sell, day trade, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about this, why I believe in certain projects, just kind of like on a surface level, because there's more to it. It would take hours and hours and hours to get into all of it. But at the end of the day, if you have a strong belief, again, backed by some data, right? If you have a strong belief in a project, you're more likely to stick with it, even when there's fluctuations in the market. Okay, so we're going to talk today about exploiting the bear market without dismantling primary assets. Okay, everything that I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to play it in terms of new capital allocation. And it doesn't matter the amount, okay? If you are allocating an additional 10 grand a month, 1 grand a month, $24 a month, whatever the case may be, you can still apply these principles for your new capital allocation, okay? And then finally here, how I'm going to play it. As always, my opinion, take what you want and apply it and integrate it with the current strategy. I hope you've seen by now that the strategy in this mastermind is not like a set, rigid, you must do X, Y, Z. It's more of like, hey, here's the framework inside of which multiple moves are possible. But for the sake of this video here today, I'm just going to share with you what I'm doing and why I think it's going to be valuable long term. So first off, just to kind of preface this with what's going on, I'm going to keep, I'm keeping my primary assets, meaning not dismantling them, okay? So for example, you might be in Guard BUSD, you might be in Forge BNB, you might be in Knight BUSD, you might be in any number of different farms. If that for you is one of your primary assets, what I'm saying is don't dismantle that, keep that and add to it this perspective, okay? And the bear market right now it looks like it's going to continue downward trend, okay? I'm not going to get into all of the details right now, but again, just my perspective, my opinion on this, it looks like it's going to continue its downward trend. So what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm waiting. I'm stockpiling something that you can quickly make a trade with. So it might be USDC, BUSD, or just straight up USD, but I'm putting it in a place where I can quickly access it. So it might be my Coinbase account, it might be my MetaMask wallet, whatever the case, it's quickly and easily accessible because I want to be ready. I want to be ready to buy Bitcoin, ETH, BNB. That's me personally, okay? And I might buy a little more FTM. I haven't decided yet. But these three are the big three, right? And they're tried and true. They've been around for a long time. And if you take a look at, for example, Ethereum, years ago, it was 2018, not that long ago, so about 4 years ago, it hit a previous all-time high, whatever that was, around 1,300, and then it dropped, and I think the low was something around like $70 or something like that. So a significant drop from the top all the way down to the new all-time low. And you can see what happened. Like, it dropped, and then it kind of rebounded a little bit, and then it just kept dropping. And we're seeing a little bit of that now, right? From the all-time high of like whatever it is, 4,800 and something. It dropped, it recovers, it's dropping more, it's recovering a little bit. It's likely going to continue that downtrend as an echo of what happened in the past. Then, and I want to highlight this because this also frames what's going on here. If you look at this big chunk of time here, it's a little over a year actually, because this was, I mean, you could say it starts maybe like here-ish, like July 16th of 2020. Well, let's go back. Here's July of 2019. That's 1 year. And we go back, we almost make it like 2 years back almost. So it's about 18-ish months of more or less just sideways movement. I share that because there's two approaches here. You could just buy and hold these assets for, who knows, 12 to 24 months-ish. And that's only if you're thinking you want to sell and take some profit along the way. You could also just keep holding them indefinitely, or the 5-year, 10-year, 15-year timeline, whatever your timeline is. You could do that. That's one way. But what I'm going to recommend, and what I'm going to be doing, my opinion, you are better off getting the big names on a discount and then farming. Especially during the sideways movement. And again, you might see this and go like, well, duh, Brandon, like that's just that's the strategy, right? There's nothing like weird or wacky or new here. Again, back to our original values. Like, let's talk about, it's going to be boring but profitable, okay? If the goal is to be profitable and double my money or more every year, then I don't need a bunch of like fancy tricks. I don't need to research 200 different projects for that purpose. It's fun and interesting to research new projects, and we do that along the way while continuing to keep the big picture in perspective, as well as whatever your big term, long-term goal actually is. Okay, so especially during the sideways movement, what does this mean? It means rather than just buying and holding them, you'll likely make more long-term by pairing and farming. Again, you get the appreciation of those base assets. You would then also get participation in the trading fees, and then you would also get whatever yield that you're after as well. I'm going to show you a few different examples, and I'm even going to bring in Pancake Swap into the mix just to highlight the fact that there are other pairs available on other platforms, other dexes, and you might choose to use some of those, especially because, like, hey, Pancake Swap, you can accumulate a massive amount of cake. Like, long term, it's going to be a solid asset, right? Yeah, sure, it's down from its all-time high significantly right now, but so is the rest of the market. So if you like cake and you believe in Pancake Swap, you might want to farm a couple of these pairs that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. So what are those pairs, okay? In addition to maintaining whatever you've got, let's take a look at Night Finance. Well, right away, you can see that there is an ETH and BNB pair. And hold on a second, let me connect my wallet so we can see the percentage, or actually, will they show us the percentages here? Okay, there we go. So now the percentages are displaying here. So let's just take one like ETH BNB, for example, okay? And let's say let's make it 1 year just to make the math easy. And you go, hey, I'm going to just buy ETH and BNB when ETH is at 600 or whatever you prefer, and BNB is at, I don't know, 120 or 90 or whatever the number is. And I'm just going to hold it for 1 year. And even if I don't benefit at all from any appreciation, like it just goes up and down and just more or less moves sideways, I'm still going to end up with a 15% APR on the yield. And again, the trading fees are going to fluctuate wildly, especially when things pick up again and there's more trading volume. And I'm going to get additional percentage from those trading fees. So I could just buy these two and hold them. I would long term make money. But why not get that extra 16.7 APY while you are doing that, okay? And then I could scroll down here and say, oh, well, there's a Bitcoin BNB pair. Now, obviously, Bitcoin BTCB is a Binance token. It's pegged to the value of Bitcoin and backed up by reserves of actual Bitcoin. So in this case, you wouldn't be buying the actual Bitcoin, you would be buying a pegged token to it, but you could still enjoy the exact same upside. So personal preference, right? Like if you just want to farm this and stay on the Binance Smart Chain, this could be a really great way to do that, okay? So then I would have that 21% plus the trading fees, and again, whatever appreciation occurs over the next 12 to 24 months and on into the future of those two assets. So those are just two possibilities. And then I might say, well, what about, what does PancakeSwap have? Oh, look, PancakeSwap has, here, if you want to pair it up with a stablecoin, they have ETH and USDC. And that's an 18% APR. Or they have Bitcoin, BTCB, and Ether. Lower APR, but two really amazing assets that are going to do well over time, especially if you buy them on the downtrend. And then there was, and then here you could have BTCB and BUSD. So basically pairing Bitcoin with a stable coin and profiting from it there. So these, again, are just examples of how you can employ this very basic strategy, which is stockpile these, be ready. And I'm not going to pretend like I know when the exact bottom is, but I will tell you when I'm going to start buying these assets, okay? You can follow my timing if you want to. You can go for your own timing, whatever the case. Because, I mean, even if you buy them right now, you're still going to be okay. They're on a great discount now, but they'll likely go down even further. Then, if you want to explore a little bit and go over to the Phantom Opera network, well, there's Dark Knight. And Dark Knight has wrapped Ether and FTM, meaning these two layer ones paired together, and it's not a bad APR. And again, Ether and FTM are poised to go up significantly during the next bull run. You have wrapped Bitcoin and FTM. That could be a good one. The layer one plus Bitcoin, the granddaddy of them all. So I'm not sharing these to say like you have to get into all of these. I'm saying whatever your preferences are, you can accumulate some of these assets when they hit new lows and then put them to work for you and set your expectation for there's likely going to be this long-term for crypto, long-term sideways movement. And in my opinion, it would be silly to not capitalize on that while you have the opportunity, okay? The same-ish thing is probably going to happen with Guard. It's likely to move sideways for a while, maybe a little bit of appreciation along the way. You just keep farming it and waiting for KuCoin listing, waiting for the next bull run, waiting for higher volume, more holders. Like, hold it and wait. Everyone says, oh, I wish I'd bought Bitcoin 10 years ago. Well, if you had bought it 10 years ago, would you have had the patience and the wherewithal and the foresight to actually hold it for those 10 years? Maybe, maybe not. So again, back to the belief, I have a strong belief in Guard simply because of the leadership team behind it, how they've structured everything, the community that they're building around it, as well as like the real world projects that they have going on. I don't want to get into the details of that. Again, if you want to just follow Guardian Wolfie's community and like follow along with them, highly recommend you do that. A lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. And then on top of that, PancakeSwap, NightSwap, I'm sure there are any number of different DEXs. Basically what you want to be on the lookout for, does the DEX have the pair that I'm after? So if the pair that I'm after is, I really like ETH and Bitcoin, and I go right to PancakeSwap and I realize, where did it go here? There it is. And I go, PancakeSwap has it. Great. I just solved my problem, right? I don't have to search 12 different possibilities or platforms. I can poke around a little bit, but the point is simplicity, right? If you find the pair that you like, maybe I just want to do ETH USDC, I mean, man, 18% APR on that one. I can just kind of ride it out. And the USDC is going to stay stable, but I'm going to ride the appreciation of the ETH. You could do that as well. You could even say, I'm going to farm just for the sideways movement, and then I'm going to go all in on ETH or BNB and like ride the next big wave, okay? But again, I don't want to make it too complex. The basic strategy here, getting back to simplicity, is going to be acquiring these tried and true, reliable, trusted assets and farming them during the bear market and knowing that, hey, this will probably take a while, but I'm cool with that. And as we kind of related to this, there's that highlighter again. Bam. Fewer moves equals more profit. Okay. The reason I'm sharing this approach and this strategy rather than saying here's everything that I'm doing right now is because I have a belief, my opinion, that this is the simplest and it's the fewest moves and it will be the most risk-adjusted, reliable turn. You might miss out on some fraction of potential upside at the other end of it, but to me, I'm okay with that because I'd rather sleep easy at night, wake up, do my 5 minutes of button clicking and go, cool, I actually don't need to do more. I don't need to research for 3 more hours or make more moves. I did what I needed to do and I'm cool with it. Okay, that's about 21 minutes. I didn't want to make this super long. I just wanted to share with you all some perspective. Feel free to shoot me some questions if that's in the Telegram group. If it's in a one-on-one private message, you can do that as well. I just want to make sure that everyone has some perspective on this related to what's happening in the market so that while the market continues its downtrend, we all can sit comfortably going, yay, it's going down. That's what I want. Okay, so that's completely separate from the typical approach, which is green candles, yay, I'm happy, dopamine hit. Red candles, boo, I'm sad, everything sucks. It's not that at all. You'll begin to understand long term that you ride these waves up and down, and both directions in general are good because the general uptrend over time will play out, okay? And then yes, there will be a point in time where you want to cash out completely, and ideally you want to plan for that a few years in advance, knowing that, like, say for example, you've already been doing this for 8 years and you're like, hey, the next bull run, I'm going to ride this and I'm going to start cashing out as it's peaking. Not at the tippy top, but as it is going up and peaking, I'm going to start to cash out gradually over time. So then you're able to do that towards the peak of a bull market and then just be like, cool, I'm out completely. But in the meantime, farming, trusting the process, little yields on a daily basis, and then compounding those yields and trusting in the exponential growth of that compounding effect. So, yeah, like I said, questions if you got them, let me know. I hope this was helpful in terms of not only putting a bigger picture strategy into perspective for you, but also just giving you some reassurance that this is just a season, this is part of the process. It's echoing a cycle from 4 years ago, and we'll likely see ongoing echoes of this 4-year cycle. And just to reaffirm, that's why this mastermind is a lifetime access thing, because I know we're going to hit this bull market, and in all probability, 4 years later, there's going to be at the next Bitcoin halving, there's going to be another similar type of pattern to this. And the longer you're in the market, right? Time in the market, not timing the market. The longer you're in this market, the more you start to see those patterns repeat themselves, and the more confidence you will have in those patterns repeating themselves. Okay. That's it. Have an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend, everyone. We'll catch up soon.